What argument have you been in where you knew you were 100% right? But everyone else was either too stubborn or too stupid to realize they were wrong? Manager threatened to write me up over something he specifically told me to do. He sent me a nice email and attached our entire supervisor department. I had 4 to 5 different supervisors on my butt about it. He didn't know I had screenshots of the entire conversation, and instead of a normal email response, I just sent that back to him and highlighted the area where he told M to do it and made sure to attach the entire management, supervisor team. At a children's trivia quiz. A few months after Pluto was reclassified and not a planet anymore. The question was, how many planets in our solar system? I said 8. The answer model said 9. Because it was older. From before the reclassification. I argued, but the adult in charge just said they would count the answer model correct and nothing else. I lost by 2 points from someone who did answer 9 here. Still am, salty as fuck about it. Child me was so proud for knowing this was a trick question and Pluto got demoted. The way things should go in the dishwasher. This is not a random walk. A little order goes a long way. Someone argued with me once that a rat was not an animal. She said rats are rodents. Not animals. Woman shrugging, light skin tone. Not my argument. But the bodybuilder forum thread arguing about the number of days in a week is a classic. https forum.bodybuilding.com/showthread.php T equals 107,926,751 and page equals 1. I worked with a guy who thought the Philippines were basically abandoned islands until the Americans colonized them. The people there are descendants of Americans and Chinese workers. I honestly thought he was fucking with me, but he started getting upset when I laughed at him. Doubling down. When I'm like, dude, take like 5 seconds to Google it, he was like, nah. I don't need to. I already know I'm right. Fucking insane LMAO. I was having a conversation with my friend about cremation. She stated that the teeth don't burn like the other bones in the body when someone is cremated. Her reasoning was, well, the mouth is wet and I saw it on the NCIS. I had to call a morgue and ask them about this and she still didn't believe me. At the end of Endgame, Cap traveled back in time and created an alternate timeline where he lived the next 70-plus years with Peggy. He then traveled back to the MCU Prime to give Sam the shield. A friend in high school read something about peaches being infected with AIDS. Somehow, in the entire room I was the only one to call bullshit and I was the stupid one for doing so. It was a math question and the answer was 2316 and my group said it was 1972. I was at a Christmas Eve brunch and there were 2 mayonnaise bowls out for the cold cut platter. And buns. I figured one was mayo and one was Miracle Whip. Asked my dad which was which and he said they're both mayo. Just use one. I used one and I got the Miracle Whip. Gag me. That the 1999 cinematic masterpiece, The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz is an amazing film. That the longest word wasn't anti-disestablishmentarianism. I said there was another. Insert Yoda. For lung problems I think, but only like a month later could I find the word. Anything with a Trumpster. Also got into an argument with someone who was determined there were people in the world that got married just to have sex. I'm married. This happens too many times in a day to bother counting. Eating animals is unethical if you have the means to eat plant-based. Wouldn't say stupid or even stubborn. More, we don't have the same definition for the same word, or, I'm not able to explain myself properly. Anyhow, wrote something on shower thoughts lately. Didn't go well. I let it go though. That sub is for fun, not debate. Still a bit frustrating though, I must admit. X equals 2 not 3. Seriously, you ADD not multiply. Yes, indices are annoying, I know. Math you don't. Please listen to me. We just moved into a new house and our neighbor is a contractor and has been awesome with letting us borrow tools and helping us with getting everything in the house the way we want it. Anyway, the other day he was looking at our vacuum and we had the following conversation. Made in the Netherlands. Oh, I thought it was German. No. It says right here Dutchland. Oh, Deutschland. That's Germany. No. Dutch people live in the Netherlands, and I just changed the subject because again, he's been really nice and helpful and I didn't want to argue with him. But like, more than I can remember, usually in the context of having do group work. Studying law, and it was the subject of a type of corporation. It wasn't allowed to have members. Uncle insisted I was wrong. Literally read it in the law books 5 minutes before seeing him. Anytime I've ever talked to someone I work with about how tax brackets work. Trying to convince a kid on my school bus that the week starts with Sunday instead of Monday. Dumbass seriously said, it is to save space, and didn't even admit stupidity when looking at a calendar. I work with a bunch of Trumpers and they kept arguing the election was rigged and stolen. They are wrong. Black doesn't attract heat. The material of the object does. Colors don't. And that is why any official request must be made in writing. Saved emails might just save your job. https www.youtube.com/watch v equals AOWO6 DVRMAES. Organized dishes in the dishwasher is the way to go. What kind of animal just shoves things in there randomly? They want to get cleaned. You're saying that the dishwasher isn't a magic box where dirty dishes go in and clean ones come out? Also, why does your English short story need to be 100% scientifically accurate or risk getting an F? Is it written well? Is it formatted properly? Does it have correct grammar? Is it written as a narrative? Does it meet all the requirements of the assignment? I'm sure some kid wrote a short story about superheroes or time travel or some other scientifically impossible bullshit and got an A. This teacher totally misses the mark about what she's being paid to educate children on. Why is your English teacher concerned about the accuracy of the science of a paper? Shouldn't she be judging it on its coherence and literary value? Edit. I mean, does she read Harry Potter and complain that the Latin for the spells are all wrong? Ha 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 ha. Even if it's not hereditary. Why would it be impossible to have a father and a grandfather both be alcoholics? What a bizarre reason. That is fucking gold. I like to imagine that conversation taking place in a gym locker room. I really want to punch the guy that's being so stubborn. XD so funny. The fuck. It's simple, it's 4 days 1 week and 3 days another week. Who are these idiots? Technically every object in the universe is three-dimensional. Your teacher just dumb. I get that this was confusing to people because they don't specifically say it in the movie. But dang. It's not that complicated if you give it just a little bit of thought. The amount of people who still consider this a plot hole is insane. I feel this. I worked at a place for 5 days and then we hired a new person. I was told to train him. The whole time, I was thinking, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing here. Why me? That trend continued for my entire employment there. Hire a new person. Make the previous newest person train them. Then complain all the new people don't do things right or take shortcuts or forget stuff. Never once saw a manager, boss, or even experienced employee train anyone. I work at my local Walmart. They have online training, which teaches like nothing. And we were just thrown out onto the floor. They got mad at us because we were doing things wrong, but we didn't know they were wrong. No one really got fired for this. But it still was a pain in the ass. Granted, there are hundreds of employees to train since the store is new. So they don't have the time to individually train us. But still. Same kind of people who say that you should feed cats and dogs meat-free diets. I feel like Miracle Whip and mayo look different enough though. Unless you were really young, I guess. If you spend a lot of time in religious fundamentalist environments, you might change your mind on that latter part. Greater than also got into an argument with someone who was determined there were people in the world that got married just to have sex. Let me introduce you to Utah or the Bible Belt. People are dumb. That seems like a simple problem, not some highly advanced calculus or something. Wow. It's not even spelled Dutchland. Neighbors sound cool for helping y'all out, but they need to learn about Germany. Google says the color itself does indeed absorb more light energy. Black traps more light than other colors. And that light gets converted into heat. So although the color itself doesn't absorb heat, it absorbs some light which turns into heat. And some people wonder why the black interior of a car is hotter on a summer day than a tan interior. It's just a cardboard prop that hides the Jewish space laser majorly traitorous gremlin tried to warn us about. This is a post where you knew you were 100% right. Not your subjective opinion.